The first product we're going to take a look at is the Isoacoustics Aperta speaker stand isolators. So what the hell is a speaker isolator stand and why should you care? Well, it's certainly not rocket science, despite what some companies want you to believe.
We use a laser vibrometer to study the movement of the stands and to tune the isolators. The laser vibrometer takes thousands of shots a second across the face of the speaker baffle and the front of the stands.
But here's the concept. Here's a great example. This speaker is raised up by this stand. Now, if I sat it on this solid wood table, you'd have two negative things that would happen. One is you'd have more sound reflections off the solid surface. It would be, aiming more towards the wood and bouncing around. Okay. The second thing is having a speaker on a solid surface or wood floor in general, that surface starts to absorb mid and low frequencies, which can muddy the sound of the speaker. So here comes the isolation part. Not only are you raising it off that surface, in the case of these speaker stands, you have rubber feet that connect to the bottom of the speaker and then rubber feet that touch the surface of the desk or whatever you're putting it on. So it's starting to isolate the speaker from the surface. So how about a demo? So I've taken a high bitrate audio sample that I've used for my car videos. So that's playing through a piece of software that can actually reproduce the high quality sound, running it through a DAC that runs through the monitor. So essentially it's as clean as I can hear it in this room. Now I've set up a Tascam sound recorder in my listening position, so it's going to simulate ears. You're going to hear it with the stands and without. So when I remove the stands, I lower the sound recorder, based on the height that you're losing from the stands. So let's take a listen. So what do you think? Could you tell the difference? Maybe you can't tell the difference at all because we're taking a high quality sound clip, compressing it, uploading it to YouTube and being recompressed again. But more importantly, how and where did you listen to this sound clip? Were you on the toilet at a Wendy's? Were you in a $100,000 sound studio? Or maybe you were just listening to it on your Motorola Razr flip phone. And that's really the biggest point here, is sound is so subjective. No room is the same. No device is the same. In fact, you could take these speakers and move them 3 feet that way and they're going to sound totally different. Sound is a very tricky thing. So the people that are going to use sound isolators are more than likely a certain breed. They're either creating music, editing music, they're in a studio environment, or you just might be somebody who's an enthusiast that loves listening to music and wants to get speakers off the floor or more angled towards your ears. This is where these stands are going to help. The big deal here is, can I tell the difference? This is my own unique space. The only other person in here is my blow-up doll. So do these stands make a difference? Well, here's the pros. The first thing that it allows me to do is get them off the table and get them aimed directly at my ears, either by angle or just height, which is probably one of the most important things, is just speaker placement in general. So that's a pro, but you don't need to spend money to do that. You can shim these. There's plenty of other ways to get them to the right height. The second pro is the isolation, because this is a unique design. They're trying to isolate the speaker from the surface. From listening to a whole bunch of different things in sound editing, it has made the bass cleaner than just sitting on the table. So in that case, they do work. It is a clearer sound. So on to the cons. The first thing is these are machined aluminum and then powder coated. And when you look at them up close, the finish isn't all that great. There's a lot of dimpling. Some of the cuts aren't smooth. It's just an overall rough looking piece. It looks more like a prototype than a finished project. I've seen small aftermarket automotive parts companies in the States do some CAD design and some really fancy looking, really nice aluminum cut pieces. This is not one of them. And that wouldn't be a big deal, but the next con is the price. These are $200. They're designed in Canada and manufactured in China, which I could accept the price if they were manufactured domestically. But coming from there, there's no excuse for these to be that much money for what they do. You can get foam isolators for like 40, 50 bucks or make your own. This is more for somebody who just has money to piss away and is only using a studio environment. Now, does that mean speaker isolators don't work? No. In fact, I would recommend it if you're using desktop speakers at home or you have speakers at home that are just sitting on a solid surface. Look at some foam pad isolators that you can get for cheap, and you're gonna get some better bass response and mid-range response. So overall, I can't really recommend these because of the price, unless you just have money to piss away.